So you think you know how to use an onsen in Japan? Well, most people don't. And even if you think you might, you maybe don't want to figure out the truth when you're standing naked in the locker room. Hi everyone, it's Abby from Pick Tour, and today I am staying in an onsen town. And while I will not be taking you with me into the baths, I'm going to give you all the information you need to know about enjoying baths in Japan. So today, let's make you an onsen pro. Let's get started with what is an onsen anyway? So you probably hear all these words like onsen, Sento. What do all these things mean in the first place? So let's talk about onsen first. So an onsen is not just a hot bath. Onsen actually has a legal definition, and that is hot spring water that naturally comes from the ground and contains certain minerals or heat levels. So depending on the region, onsen water can be milky white, it can be golden, it can be sulfur smelling, it can be fizzy and carbonated. And so the mineral content of the water is going to change the color, the smell, and how the water even feels on your skin. And that's what makes onsen so fun, is each one kind of has its own unique features, its own unique kind of healing attributes, if you will. And so then each town will have its own unique personality. So then when you hear the word Sento, is a Sento the same thing as an onsen? Well, no. So while the onsen is natural hot spring water, it has minerals, it's usually in like rural or historic towns, and it's usually pricier. A Sento is basically just regular heated tap water. It's going to be more inside cities rather than these kind of beautiful little rustic historic towns. It's going to have a very neighborhood bathhouse vibe, and they're going to be very cheap and very local. So regardless of whether you go to an onsen or a Sento, the etiquette is actually going to be basically the same. So let's start with the obvious. When you go to an onsen or a Sento, you will take off everything you are wearing. Every single thing you are wearing must be removed. I'm saying that twice because I want you to understand the entirety of this will be removed. So this is Japanese culture. This is kind of almost the gap moe, if you will, if you even know what that means, of Japan, where they seem like these very shy, introverted people, but you go to the bathhouse and you just get naked, and that's just what you do. And honestly, when I went for the first time as a, pure-blooded American, I was very nervous. I was like, people are going to be looking at me, And honestly, everyone minds their business. No one looks at you. Nobody cares what you're doing. It's usually so steamy in there that there's really not much to be looking at in the first place. Like, people are just sitting in the bath, just in the zone. Nobody cares. So if that's something that you're worried about, my general advice to you is honestly, nobody cares. And I know that that doesn't really help you very much. That's kind of like when people are mad and you're like, well, calm down. Like, okay, it's not that simple. But honestly, it is a worthwhile experience if you can just kind of push past that sort of first awkwardness experience. Because really nobody cares. And if you are extra shy, you can try going at times when the baths are usually going to be less busy. So depending on where you go, that will kind of change. Early in the morning, the old people come out and they go to the bath. And late at night, people will also emerge and go to the bath. Usually if you go around lunchtime, like on weekdays, nobody's going to be there. They're going to be eating lunch. But if you're not sure, I would just ask the staff. And then, of course, if you're super duper shy, you can use a private bath. But I'll get to that later. Next up, something I'm asked very frequently is, what if we have tattoos? So tattoo rules vary everywhere, but generally speaking, most Sento and most onsen that are public will not allow you to have tattoos. The differences will be there are some that will allow you, if you have very small tattoos, if you cover them. I don't have any tattoos, but if I did, like, imagine if it was like this small, maybe you could like put a band-aid on it or something. But if you have any kind of sleeve, any kind of big tattoo, unfortunately, that's just a no-no. And so for that reason, I'm actually compiling a list of tattoo-friendly baths that you can visit. It's going to be in my blog here because I'm not just going to sit here and list the names of all of these places. And so I would check that out if that sounds like you. And the other thing I would do is, like I said, to consider the private baths. So this is when I want to talk about the private baths, because if you are either incredibly shy or you have tattoos or you just want to enjoy the bath and not be around other people, which is totally fair, private baths are the way to go. And so what you're going to want to do is stay at a ryokan or a hotel that has private baths. Pretty much any onsen town is going to be the way to go for this. So my personal favorite is to go to Hakone. Hakone has an amazing selection of ryokan that have private baths. So if you see my Hakone video that I made, we stayed at a place that had a private bath. It was lovely, but a lot of hotels, even if they don't have a private bath in the room itself, will generally have one that you can kind of not rent, but use for like an hour or so inside the hotel itself. So now let's walk through what happens when you go to the bath itself. I don't want anything to surprise you guys. So you're gonna walk up to the place, right? So generally speaking, 99.99% of the time, when you approach the front door, you're gonna have a place where you take your shoes off. And then you're going to pay. Generally paying happens before you go into the bath. So payment will be dependent on usually a lot of different things. Some places are very simple. It's just adult child prices. And some places will have, if you come late at night, you get a discounted price. Or if you want to use the sauna and the bath, you have to pay this combo price. It just depends on the place. So pay for what you want to do. A lot of the historic places are going to be cash only, by the way, so bring cash. So once you pay, you'll usually get a little band or a key, and you're going to take that to your respective curtain. So usually the blue curtain will look like this, and that is for men, and the pink/red curtain that looks like this will be for women. So of course this is a very binary thing. If you're not comfortable with either of these, I would then suggest go into a private bath where you will probably be more comfortable. Next up is where, if you've never done this before, the panic will really start setting in. So when you go into the locker room, it will be a locker room. People will be removing their clothing. You'll have a key that has like a number on it. So you'll get that. You'll go to your locker. You'll put your stuff in it. You'll take your clothes off. You're going to put them into the locker. And then the only thing you're going to take with you when you go into the bath area will be, generally speaking, your towel. So a towel is kind of the essential item you're going to need when you go to the bath, right? Duh. If you're staying in an onsen town, oftentimes they will provide this to you and you will just be able to take it. Or you will usually be able to rent one when you go to the bathhouse. So if you go into a locker room and you realize you don't have a towel, don't go try to take a bath without a towel. You will just be wet. I don't think that's a situation you want to end up in. And you're going to take your little towel, and your first stop before you get comfortable in the bath is going to be the shower area. So go over to this little shower station where basically you sit on a little stool and you wash yourself. Usually just go for the full wash. Please wash your body. That's the number one important thing. If you need to wash your hair, wash your hair. Otherwise, put it up and just get it out of the way. Ladies, please don't get in the bath with this long hair down. Put your hair up. Keep it up there wherever possible. And then, of course, rinse all the soap off. Please don't get in the bath with soap on your body. So once you're clean, basically it's just you and your little towel. You can either leave your towel on a shelf. Sometimes they have little shelves where you can put stuff. Or if you want to just keep it on you, if you need to dab your sweat while you're in there or whatever, you can keep it in your hand, or some people just pop it on top of their head. And then finally, you may enter the baths. Yay! So one thing to note about water here is it's hot, so they don't play. So usually it's around 40 to 42 degrees Celsius. Different baths will have different temperatures. Oftentimes bigger places will have kind of a variety of temps. Some might even have a cold bath. Some might have kind of a hot and then a hotter bath. They'll have different kinds of mineral areas. They'll have ones that have jets that will blast your back. They'll have places where you can sit more and recline. They'll have different baths depending on where you go. And again, that's really the fun of everything, right? Is getting to try all the different baths. So a few cultural notes, like I said. First, don't get your hair in the water. Second, no having fun, no splashing, no swimming. No talking loudly. Quiet conversation is perfectly fine, but keep it down here. When you when you move baths, don't run, but also just be careful because it's slippery and you're gonna be getting out of like a very hot bath and it's easy to get lightheaded. Going off of that, don't stay in the bath for too long. Please don't like push through the heat. If you start getting hot, just get out. My favorite kind of bath places I always seek out are ones that have like an outdoor option. So like if it's chilly outside, it's so lovely to enjoy the cold air as well and go out and kind of take a break in that cold air. Side note, usually baths will have random chairs just around. They almost look like pool chairs. And those are exactly for what you think. They're for when you can't take any more in the water and you need to rest out of the water. You literally just go sit in that pool chair, just, you know, in your birthday suit, hanging out in the pool chair. Nobody cares. That's so normal. Once you enjoy your bath, you can either go shower off again or you can just leave. You don't have to rinse off again. Basically, it's just personal preference. Usually my face is kind of sweaty by the end, so I go kind of rinse it off and dry off and roll out. Make sure you dry off sufficiently before you go into the locker room. Otherwise, you're just going to be dripping everywhere, and I know you guys are smart, like that's ridiculous. And then go change clothes. And then, of course, make sure you hydrate. And if you want to do what the Japanese people do, you can then enjoy a coffee milk or a fruit milk. Coffee milk is my favorite option. This is literally the traditional way to kind of cool down after you've enjoyed the baths, is literally just to drink a coffee flavored milk or a milky coffee. Coffee milk. That's the way. So some people ask me about mixed gender onsen, if these exist. These are super duper rare for reasons I'm sure you can imagine. But most of it would require either swimsuits or like having special towels or something. I've never been to a mixed gender onsen, nor do I ever plan to be honest with you guys. So if this is your prerogative, you gotta figure that out for yourself. So generally, I think it's best just to stick with the standard division of gender baths. Now, when you go to a Sento, is it going to be different than what I just told you? No, it's going to be basically the exact same thing, except the water will be just regular tap water instead of maybe special mineral water. And you're probably going to have more locals. So especially if you go to like a really like neighborhood Sento, these are just public bathhouses that sometimes locals even use as if it's like their actual daily bath. So if you go here, please just use your common sense, use your etiquette. Don't be noisy, don't be boisterous, be polite, duh. But even neighborhood Sento can be really cool sometimes because they have a lot of very cool retro options. Quick health note, I'm not a doctor, but before you go to a bath, don't drink alcohol. Don't go if you have some kind of like heart condition, or consider talking to your doctor if you are pregnant, if you should go or not. And if you're someone that gets dizzy easily, maybe don't. So why do Japanese people love baths so much? For Japanese people, going to a bath is really just about relaxation. It's about getting clean because they love being clean. It's about slowing down. And it's also about socializing. It really kind of is a family event. It's a thing that even friends will do. So really, that's why I say, even if you're worried about the whole not wearing clothes thing, everyone's there just to have their special relaxation, me time. Nobody cares about what you're doing. So I feel like that's pretty much everything you need to know before you enjoy a onsen or a Sento in Japan. And once you understand the etiquette of everything and you've done it once or twice, everything just clicks and you're going to go home and you're going to wish that your own country had these things too. Consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!